Okay, Coach Rob here. It is Wednesday. Just getting some orders done, catching up on the day and stuff like that. Hanging out with my boy Kaiser, and I was supposed to do these on a set time. I was planning on doing it with like a time where I would do the same time all the time, but punctuality for me not so good. So here we are. So anyway, if you've never done wine time with me or a Q&A with me, the rules are pretty simple. Ask me some questions, preferably about strength, about fitness, about nutrition if you want. Ask me some questions. I'm here to help. Tell me where you're from. Feel free to say hi. And the rules are very simple. I have a nice sized glass of wine. That's pretty good, hey? So I have a nice glass of wine, and when wine is over, Q&A is over. But until then, feel free to ask me any questions. So I'm seeing some people popping on here now, which is good. Hello, Mariel. So ladies, if you were just joining on, please feel free to say hi. Tell me where you're from. Ask me some questions. I love talking strength. I love talking lifting. I love talking body transformation kind of as much, but mostly performance and strength and lifting. So if I can help you, ask away, okay? As well, hi, Uni. As well, if you can see Kaiser Bear, say hi. My boy Kaiser over there on my mat with my roller. Mariel, did you say you were ready with a bottle? That sounds like a good deal, man. Sounds like a party. It sounds like a good time. And wine is always good. Okay, so ladies, tell me where you were from, and by all means, please ask me some questions. If there's anything I can help you with, don't be afraid to ask, because I'm here to help, okay? And Kaiser, of course, it's the same way at the gym. Whenever I start to do a video or whenever I start to teach at the gym, Kaiser immediately starts running around with his squeaky toy trying to get attention. So he always knows when I'm distracted and not giving him attention. Hello, NC, Chloe, North Carolina. Love North Carolina. I was in North Carolina a few years ago for a Training for Warriors weekend, and it was epic. It was so crazy. Hanging out with Martin Rooney, and North Carolina was absolutely beautiful, all right? Hello, Stacy. It's good to see you. Cheers. Let's see, PA, Minnesota. I've never been to either one of those. They're definitely on the list. Hello, Katie. Good to see you on here. And Stacy as well. Thank you for posting the picture of the gunshot and the clothing. I really like that. Hold on a second. 1 second. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Okay, I'm back. Iowa, very cool. I've never been to Iowa. UK, I'm amazed by the amount of women from the UK that are in this group. Like it is actually crazy. I checked the other day on the stats to see where most women come from in the group, and it's USA first by far, which is wicked, and then second is actually UK by far, and then third is Canada, which is very cool. Hello, Sarah from Ottawa, Ontario. Good to see some Canadians here. Stacey, I'll tell him that you said hi. Houston, beautiful place. Loved it there. Absolutely love Texas. Love it. Texas seems to be on the rise big time now, which is great to see. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to start getting some questions here now. Ladies, bear with me for a second. Okay, let's see. Lorena, starting the 21-day program, can't walk without pain. What do you mean in terms of like pain from training or pain like in general? If it's short, you can post it here and I'll read it. If it's long or if it takes a lot of time, I probably won't have time to deal with it if it's an injury thing. But definitely let me know and I can try to help you, okay? Hello, Katie from Edmonton, Alberta. Good to see some Canadians on here. Mariel from California. Okay, so ladies, if you have any questions, by all means, ask them. I'm here to help. Okay, so Lorena, a couple of things when it comes to soreness, all right? A couple of things that you can do to, let's say, to reduce and prevent soreness, okay, is make sure post-workout that you have some type of carbohydrate. A banana is always good after you train. Something with a little bit of simple sugars is always good. You want to have something to try to get cortisol down after you train and help improve muscle recovery. Vitamin C is good, anywhere from 1 to 3 grams of vitamin C, along with a banana, along with protein powder. I think EAAs, essential amino acids, or branched chain amino acids are ideal post-workout. Whey is cheaper, But a lot of people have digestive issues with whey, and I just don't think it's as good as essential aminos. I've been using essential aminos and branched chains for a while now, and I love them, and I'm not going to give them up. Another thing you can do is a light walk, okay? Anytime you finish a hard leg day or something with a lot of exercise, a light walk is always good. A light ride on a bike is always good, something to get blood flow going, okay? Another thing is if you get a hot bath, use Epsom salts, but anytime you add heat post-workout, it's always going to usually increase muscle soreness, okay? But when in doubt, the best thing you can do is pay attention to post-workout recovery, light soft tissue work, and the proper supplements to help with recovery. Hope this helps. Let's see if I missed anything here now. Okay, there was something... I'm sorry, I'm looking. There's somebody here. Okay, never mind. Okay, question from Stacy. Do all leg presses work the same muscles? Okay, so... No, Kaiser. Muscles rarely ever work on their own in isolation perfectly, okay? So this is a big myth with a lot of training things, which is today I'm going to train biceps, okay? Now, biceps is a little different. You're always going to, work around, but it's a small muscle. But like, let's say if you want to work legs, you can't really work, like the quadricep is 4 types of muscles in the front part of your legs, okay? So you're never really going to target one specifically. You can always focus on one a bit more, but they're kind of all going to be working. Now, there are variations that you can change on the leg press, okay? So whether your toes are straight like this or whether your toes are turning out, whether your feet are closer, whether your feet are wider, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do to change where you are targeting on a leg press, the muscles you are trying to target. There's so many different things you can do, So variations like will help differently by toeing out, by toes straight, pushing with the heels. There's a whole bunch of different options, okay? So it will work most of the quads, but you can kind of target a little bit with some variations, okay? I hope that helps. Wine and talking lifting, not too bad. Life is pretty good for right now. Let's see. Okay, question from Katie. Okay, question from Katie, which is, I just had surgery and can't do lower body till May. I want to go crazy with my arms and shoulders. What's my favorite exercise for building? Okay, so the fun thing about training arms and shoulders is that they are smaller muscle groups. Therefore, they can handle a lot more volume and a lot more sets and a lot more reps. And the chances of overtraining your body are pretty minimal. Like if you went in and did a leg day 5 days in a row, you're going to be trashed, right? Your whole immune system, nervous system, after 5 days of legs straight, you'll probably just want to cry, right? Okay. But with arms and shoulders, you can train them more often and they don't cut into the recovery because it's not as demanding. All right. So what you can do basically is mix it up a little bit. So maybe let's say you do arms 3 days a week. Maybe you do a light day, a medium day, and a heavier day. Okay. And then you can also add in, arms can take a lot of volume as well, which is great. So you can do like drop sets, you can do giant sets, you can do descending sets, you can do pyramid sets. There's so many things you can do. Literally, it's endless what you can do. And I've seen your shoulders are pretty jacked anyway, so it would be a good time to maybe like focus on your rear delts a little bit and triceps to try to bring out the shoulder caps that you already have, if that makes any sense. So, but yeah, you can train arms a lot. And another thing you can do as well is spend a bit of time doing like soft tissue work on your arms. I usually always have it by my side, but you can buy like a little scraper. It's called a gua sha tool. You can buy a really good one or you can buy a really cheap one. You buy a good one, it's going to last you forever. I ordered a cheap one off Amazon and it broke after like 2 days. But you can also then do some scraping and foam rolling to help improve your recovery. So like you'll be a little sore for a day or two, but your body will get used to it. And then you're actually able to train even more frequently, if that makes any sense. Hope that helps you, Katie. Let's see here now. I'm going to catch up. Okay, question from Cassandra. Are accessory exercises necessary to do while doing a novice powerlifting program? Yeah, I think so. There's a couple of different like schools of thought on this. Okay, when it comes to powerlifting, and me being a powerlifter and a powerlifting coach, I've encountered everything. There's what's called the purists. Okay, a purist is somebody who does just barbell only, and then they do barbell variations, and that's all they do, right? And then there's the other type of person, which will use anything that they can, I love the barbell, but I also think that there's many other tools that you can use that work very well. So do I think that accessory work is important? Yes, very much so. It's the better way to hit the muscles, because barbell powerlifting training doesn't always hit the muscles the same way that isolation work does. And isolation work is also a great way to bring up weaker muscles, and to also keep the muscles that you have that are strong. Kaiser, what are you doing? Oh, he's giving me sad eyes. Hold on. He's such a big sook. So I hope that helps you. And if I can help you with anything with powerlifting, by all means, let me know. I love powerlifting, love strength training, love lifting. So any ladies that are watching this, if you want strength training help, if you want powerlifting help, I'm your guy. I would love to help. That's what I love to do. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. If I can catch up. Okay, Stacy. Yeah. So all of them are going to change the variations. If at some point maybe like take a picture of it and send it to me, or tag me in it or something like that, and I'll see what machine that you use. Okay. Hi, Kat. It's nice to hear from you, and thank you for everything. Things are good. Today was a nice day. I got out for a walk with my boy. I'm supposed to work out, but didn't get that in yet. See how it goes after some wine. Okay. Question from Sarah. What's a good way to incorporate running into my weight program? I've heard too much running is to the detriment of muscle building, but I need to get ready for soccer. Okay. I'm probably not going to be able to give you a good enough answer on that, especially considering that you're talking about performance at soccer, which is a sport that you're going to play in. So I don't know. No, I can't tell you how much you should do. What I would recommend trying to do, though, is maybe looking to cut back on your strength training as you prepare for soccer. It's easy to overdo too much, right? So maybe if you do like 2 full body or 3 full body days of strength training, and then maybe like 2 to 3 days of running and 1 day full recovery, all right? Women have a tendency to always want to do more and do too much, and that's not always the best option. It rarely is, okay? So for the most part, ease into it. And then when your soccer starts ramping up, and when your focus on that starts ramping up, then descale back your lifting and stuff, because you can't do both at a higher level, if that makes any sense, okay? Let's see if there's any other questions here. Let's see now. Okay, yeah, so basically, I wrote a couple of things about this earlier on an article that I'm working on, and I'm going to keep an eye out for questions. Is women just have a tendency to always think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but women have a tendency to think more is better, that more efficient is better. The more that I can do, the faster I can do this. If I can do more workload, then we're going to get better results, right? Women are very much, like to get things done like that. But when it comes to training, more is not always better, and also recovery is extremely essential. So you cannot neglect your recovery to do more training. Now, as you get in better shape and as you start getting more fit and more athletic, then your body's able to tolerate more training. So then you can train more and eat more. But if you start trying to do too much too fast and go all out, usually what happens is you hit a wall, you lose motivation, fat loss gets more harder, gets more difficult for many reasons. So it's an interesting thing. So you got to make sure that like when you start training that you don't overdo it at first, and that you build up your workload and build up your tolerance over time, okay? Okay, question from Stephanie from Ohio. Circleville, Ohio. I've never heard of that. Before I get to your question, Stacy, I've been to Ohio 9 times, 9 times for the Arnold Classic Bodybuilding Championships. And fuck, what a crazy place that weekend is for things, man. It's such a good experience. It's incredible. I loved Ohio, and I can't wait to go back there again. Hopefully, actually, maybe next year when life calms down, if it does. Let's get to your question. Funny question. Okay, so Stephanie from Ohio, question is there any set of supplements that you strongly recommend? So long story short, a couple of funny things about this here. One is I owned a supplement store for 10 years. So before I got into owning a gym, I owned a supplement store. It was called Heavyweights Sports Supplements. So for years, I was like the go-to guy for supplements. I would literally, I had this little store. It was about 1,300 square feet. Kaiser, nice store. Katie's coming up. I had a store. It was at 1,300 square feet. It was only a small little store. But I was kind of like the go-to guy when it came to supplements and training. I literally would be in that store all day, nonstop, with people coming in asking me questions because they couldn't find good information and because everybody else pushed things and tried to sell things instead of try to help, which I never did. Kaiser, leave her alone. He's at my fucking cat. He won't leave my cat alone recently. Anyway, is there supplements I recommend? Yes. I've actually got, it should be out in about 3 weeks. I'm doing a digital report, basically a PDF on the top 10 supplements for women. So I made a post a couple of days ago about supplements that what women think are the top 5 for them to use. And I'm trying to take some of that data along with my information that I have of supplements that I recommend for women. And I'm going to put it together into like a top 10 supplements for women. Okay. And it's going to be really helpful and informative. But off the top of my head, okay, here's like 4 or 5. All right. I love BCAAs and essential aminos, okay? So some type of EAA or BCAA, I think is really well worth it. High quality fish oil is really well worth it. Don't buy the stuff from Costco or from the drugstore. Spend a bit of money and buy something good when it comes to fish oil. Trust me, it's worth it, okay? If you ever get the fish oil burps, now I don't know how true this is, but I've heard it from a pretty good source, okay? Like I've heard it from like a fish expert, anyway, you get the point. That if you get fish burps while you're taking fish oils, it's because the fish oil is rancid and not able to be digested very well. So spend a few dollars more and buy better quality fish oil, okay? So essential aminos or BCAAs, a good fish oil is always good. A good protein powder, because it's always hard to get good quality protein. It's getting carbs is easy. Getting protein is not very easy. On top of that, magnesium and magnesium variations, and I've got more information coming out on that. I love magnesium. I think it's one of the most underrated supplements for life, for health, for performance, for everything. Magnesium is a wonder supplement, okay? Another one I really like is L-carnitine, all right? It's pretty low cost, works really well for fat loss, works really well for brain function, a whole bunch of other stuff. But you'll see that like those are like my kind of like go-tos. So, but look for that. It's going to come out probably in like a month, 1 to 2 months, top 10 supplements for women. It'll be free and it'll just be something that I can like educate women on supplementation. I hope that helps. Let me see what else is going on here. KCMO, hello. Okay, question. Sorry, having trouble reading. Question from Kiara, I believe. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Was told recently to switch from whey to casein protein, and then another trainer suggested a non-dairy protein. What the fuck do I do? Okay, let's drill down a little bit on this one, all right? The biggest problem with whey protein is a lot of people have digestive issues and intolerances to it, okay? I never thought I had a problem ever with intolerances or digestive issues. And now the last month or two, I'm starting to pay more attention to my food, even more so. And noticed a few times that like I drink whey and like my belly doesn't like it. So it's like, something's not right here, okay? It's okay to use casein, okay? It's okay to use a blend protein. It's okay to use whey protein. It's okay to use all of them. But you got to make sure you find one that you like and you enjoy the taste, going to go down digestion-wise pretty good, and that you enjoy, you know? But the thing is that make sure what you watch with whey is that if it gives your stomach or digestions any problems, it's pretty common. Casein protein is a great source of protein. There's nothing wrong with casein, all right? It's a slower digesting protein as well, so there's nothing wrong with that. But come to the end of the day, okay? It doesn't matter if it's whey, if it's casein, if it's a blend, if it's this. What matters is, will you take it consistently? Will you use it consistently? Is it something you enjoy? And does it cause you any digestive issues? And if not, then it doesn't really matter the type of protein. The only time I really worry about specifics in terms of like really focusing on the small things is if somebody's really prepping hard for a competition or a show, then I want to get like, I won't take an 8 out of 10. I'll take a 9.9 out of 10, right? But for the most part, if you're talking just a protein powder, find one that you like and you use consistently. Last point on this is it's always good to rotate your protein powders, and it's also good to rotate your protein sources. It's very easy to consistently use the same protein, and after a while you can develop food intolerances. This happens a lot with people who do bodybuilding and fitness shows. They eat so much chicken, they eat so much egg whites, they eat so much of the same shit that their body after a while starts developing intolerances. So make sure you change your brand of protein and your type of protein as well, okay? I hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Question here from Kat. Trying to strengthen glutes to help with a high hammy strain, doing banded glute bridges daily. Should I worry about overdoing it? Okay, so usually when it comes to a strain or an injury or something, there's a couple of things that can happen. One, just bad luck, bad day. Shit happens, right? You know, you can do everything right sometimes and you're going to get injured. You're going to get something that's going to get hurt. And it sucks, but that's life. The next thing is lack of proper warm-up, okay, plays a role. And then also imbalances and asymmetries. So let's say your hamstrings are really tight and really strong, but your glutes aren't. Then it's going to cause a ratio, a problem to go off between your muscles working together synergistically, okay? But, you know, to strengthen the glutes, you need a mixture of heavy training, light training. You need a mixture of basic barbell exercises like hip thrusts, reverse lunges, those type of things. And then you also need like small movements, okay? Like the same with the shoulders, you know? You can do like lots of overhead pressing and lots of barbell bench pressing, but you still need like those small movements, you know, for your shoulders to be healthy. Same thing goes for the glutes, okay? A guy on Instagram has a lot of good info is obviously Brett Contreras, but another guy that has lots of good glute info is Dr. Locke, Locke, Andrew Locke. He's a guy on Instagram. He's got a big gold chain. He's a big fucking dude, and he's got a lock at the end of his chain. But anyway, some of the glute information he puts out is top-notch. I hope that helps, okay? Nikki, hip mobility, what are some good stretches and exercises? Nikki, what I would recommend you to do is to check out Kelly Starrett, okay? Kelly Starrett is his name. On Instagram, it is The Ready State on Instagram. Kelly Starrett, The Ready State. He also has a book called The Supple Leopard. His stuff for when it comes to hip mobility and stretching is probably the best of the best. I can't hold a candle to him when it comes to that. So if you want good information on that, just Google Kelly Starrett hip mobility and you'll find a ton, okay? I've got some articles on my site as well on women who lift weights, but Kelly Starrett's information is top notch. Okay, Stacy, let me read this here now. I'm reading. Okay, question from Stacy. When do you stick your butt out when going down? When do you tuck your butt? I thought the ways to stick your butt out, like sitting in a chair. I saw on IG where someone mentioned tucking your butt. What is butt wink? Okay, a lot of stuff. Let's talk here. There are many ways to do this, okay? I've learned from the best coaches and the best powerlifting coaches in the world have helped and taught me squats. I know a thing or two about squats too. There is no right or wrong way. There is the way that works best for you, okay? And the way that works best for you 6 months to a year or 2 years from now may change, okay? So first things first, let's talk about, before we get to butt wink, let's talk about the breaking of the hips or pushing your bum back in a squat. Okay, so when you're going to do a barbell squat, the initial motion, okay, should come from the hips first, immediately followed by the knees. This is the way I like to teach it. Maybe a year from now it'll be different. But when you break from the hips, you don't want to like sit your bum back or down. You want to slightly push your hips back to engage tension in the hamstrings and to also clear the hips so that the body can then descend, okay? So in a deadlift, it's a big hip hinge. In a squat, it's a very small hip hinge, okay? In the deadlift, the knees don't bend as much. In the squat, the knees bend a lot. It's just a matter of when they bend. So the first motion you want to do, some people, when they squat, they'll actually like lean their body forward first so that then they're already able to go, okay? There's no right or wrong way to do it, but it's a small hip hinge at the beginning, and then you drop into the squat. As for a butt wink, so hard to explain these things without having somebody to demonstrate for me, but I'll do my best. A butt wink is when your sacrum, your lower spine, basically, as you get to the bottom of your squat, your bum will tuck under a little bit. That's really hard to do. Anyway, instead of your L spine staying nice and straight, okay, as you come down to the bottom, it'll roll and tuck under, all right? And what will happen is those last little bit of vertebrae will start to tuck and your sacrum will tuck. And this is not good spinal alignment and can cause problems. Butt wink is like a real popular thing now. The best thing on that I would recommend is Stu McGill's stuff. I did a podcast with Stu, a 2-hour podcast. He's helped me so much. He's helped me with so many things. It's crazy. I've got articles from Stu as well, but like you want to kind of like not, you want to cut short of having your body do that, okay? Because over time, especially with weight, that can cause the butt wink can cause a bit of problems, okay? So Google Stu McGill butt wink and you'll find lots of good information, okay? Okay, good question from Sarah. Let's see now. Besides pause squats, what other supplemental exercises, movements, and alternatives would you recommend to build strength and power for a sticking point out of the bottom of a squat? Ooh, now we were talking. Okay, obviously pause squats and pause squat variations are the go-to here, okay? With pause squats, you can do multiple pauses. So maybe you do a pause halfway, pause at the bottom, then all the way up. Maybe you do a pause 1/3, pause at the bottom, all the way up. Maybe you do a pause at the bottom, up halfway, pause, all the way up, okay? So right off the bat, there's a bunch of variations. And if we're going to talk the bottom of the squat, let's focus on that. Another option you can do is how long you are pausing at the bottom, okay? So if you are there for anywhere from like, let's say 2 seconds at the bottom of the squat, the stretch reflex has not been negated completely because the stretch reflex can stay in your muscle for, I believe, up to 5 seconds. So sometimes you want to do shorter pauses and then sometimes you want to do longer pauses, all right? And this is a very simple thing to do. So maybe 1 week in your pause squats, you do 2-second pause at the bottom and you count 1, 2, up, okay? Because usually when people are pausing, the concept of time goes out the fucking window, all right? Usually it's like, oh, it's 5-second pauses tonight. Oh yeah, 1, 2, up, okay? So make sure you take your time on your pauses and don't rush them. A couple other things you can look at is, I have them at the gym. They're called eccentric hooks. Eccentric hooks. They're a hook, basically, that attached to the end of the bar to add more weight. And then as you get to the bottom, and when that releaser hits the ground, boom, it comes off, and then the bar gets lighter and the bar can come up faster. So you can do slow descending squats, with eccentric hooks. That's another good thing that can help. But a big thing with the pause squat is learning to create maximal tension in your core and learning to just kind of like stay comfortable and hang out there, okay? Practice makes perfect. Hope that helps. Okay, question from Shirley. For losing weight, what should I do? HIIT 3 times a week and 4-day split? Sure, you can definitely do that. Remember, more is not always better, okay? You need to recover. Your body will lose fat and build muscle and recover when you rest. And that when it comes to fat loss, the most important thing is going to be nutrition. And it's always like a mix and match, you know. You got to have good training, you got to have good supplements, you got to have everything for fat loss, but the biggest role for fat loss is always going to be nutrition, okay? Hello, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Very cool. Fish oil, feminine swell. Stacy, I'll have to look into that. I honestly don't know if it makes any difference for women in that way. I've worked with a lot of women, and I've overheard some crazy conversations, and like I've overheard everything, and haven't heard anything. But I will look for it, and I will listen for it, okay? Okay. Question from Cindy in BC. She's recovering from an ACL, LCL surgery. What are some good suggestions for increasing strength and stability? Okay, so right off the bat, Cindy, I'm going to pass because I know a little bit about knee surgery, but not enough to really kind of like comment or anything. Knock on wood. So I had a hip replacement surgery 2.5 years ago. So about a year out, 6 months out, I started reading everything I could on hip replacement, hip training, hip anatomy, everything. So now I feel kind of confident about hip stuff. Same thing with bicep stuff because I've had 2 bicep tears. Same thing with shoulder stuff because I've torn my shoulders up 4 or 5 times. But when it comes to knees, I don't have enough knowledge or information to do that. But I will say that if you want information on knees, check with Dean Somerset and check with Mike. Mike Robertson. Okay, if you Google Mike Robertson, strength coach, he's probably one of the top knee guys in the world. His information should be able to help you. Okay. Katie, are you having problems connecting? Because I've seen like Katie is watching. I think you must like me or something. Just kidding. Otissa, thank you. She says, Rob, you are really the best. Lots of people would charge for this info. Yes, okay. I have a tendency to just give away my best stuff for free, and I like helping, and I love this group, and I love the women in this group, and I feel that if I put out good content and help, that good karma and that help will come back in terms of women supporting my site, women supporting our clothing, women coming to do workshops when I offer them, doing my programs, doing my challenges, all of those things. And I love what I do. I would do this even if I didn't get paid. So the fact that I can get on here and do this and not charge for it makes me very happy. I get to drink wine and talk to girls about lifting weights and stuff. It's okay, right? I'm okay with it. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay. Sorry, I had to reread this one twice before I said it. Question from Tabby. On Whey, I like it, but do you get the poos? Is Whey concentrate any better to avoid the shits? This is one of the things, like, I love coaching women because the shit you hear, it's just priceless. Anyway, I said this earlier. Whey can cause digestive issues for a lot of people and can become intolerant for a lot of people. So it's not a great option. Whey is low cost. It's really tasty. It mixes very easy, but it's not necessarily always the best option for a protein. I used to take up to like 6 to 10 scoops of Whey a day before, and now I take one. And even that one, sometimes I don't even take. I take a lot more EAAs and BCAAs now and food, okay? And is there a difference between concentrate? Yes. Isolate is a higher value, higher absorbing versus concentrate. So there's isolate and there's concentrate. If you were to take both for a month, I don't think you would notice a big difference. But I believe the isolate is a little bit easier digesting, but I'm not sure. So that's all I know on that. Okay, question from Marina. Marina, I don't understand your question. So if you get a minute, explain it to me a bit better. Develop trigger finger. What do you mean by that? Let me know, okay? Tabby again. If I go a couple of hours without getting Whey, am I still absorbing it? Okay, so I'm not an expert in protein absorption and nutrition in this regard. The concept is a short-acting, fast-acting protein is digested quickly. So whether it's a whey isolate, essential amino acids, egg whites, something you put in your body and you eat and it's digested very quickly, anywhere from, say, 20 minutes to an hour, right? Then you have slower digesting proteins, which is like casein protein, milk protein, steak, beef, slower digesting, all right, can be digesting for hours. So that's why it's good to have a mixture of protein blends throughout the day, and why, for the most part, fast-acting proteins are not always better, okay? But don't get too caught up in that stuff too much, okay? Don't worry about it. Okay, let's see a question from Sandra from Tennessee. I tore my IT band 3 years ago, and now every time I try to deadlift, I can feel it pulling and kind of scares me since it's the worst thing. Okay. This is worth me getting up off my ass for. Hold on a second. Okay. So the IT band is a horrible fibrous connective muscle that sits on the outside of the thighs and can be very painful when not addressed properly. So you can do soft tissue work with it. You can use like a foam roller, okay? You can use like a broomstick. There's a whole bunch of things you can use. However, I'm going to use this fucker later. I bought this thing from Sidekick. And man, oh man, is it ever amazing for hitting the quads and the IT band. I've never used anything like it. It is incredible, okay? So it's like self-Graston, okay? So I use that tool for my IT band, and then I'm going to try to pan over to the center of my living room. And then I have a TP therapy roller and a yoga mat, which is from like my general soft purpose, soft tissue rolling type stuff. But that scraper, the Sidekick scraper, and if you need information on it, you can DM me if you want, is worth every fucking penny of how good that quality is for your IT band, okay? It's incredible. Now, once you mobilize tissue, then you need to re-educate tissue, okay? So, excuse me, it's not enough to just scrape the shit out of it and leave it. Then you need to scrape it and you need to try to get things moving the way they should. But that tool is wonderful and I highly recommend it, okay? Ladies, we got 5 minutes left or so, not even. Let's see if I've got Tennessee. I've never been to Tennessee. I would love to go to Tennessee. Alabama, very fucking cool. Ohio in the house. Let's see here. Ontario. Okay, question from Amy with regards to krill oil and fish oil. So, Amy, I don't know enough about krill oil to comment as to whether or not it's better or worse. Let me make a note on that, and then I will do some more reading and educate myself a bit more and see what I can find for you on that one, okay? Missy, if you're talking about my strength training, women's strength training guide, holy fuck. So it's a lot of work. I can't believe the amount of work that goes into writing a book. So if I was to take this book now and then go to an editor and then get a graphic designer, I could have a digital book out in a week, okay? But when it comes to the editing process and the actual physical book process, the amount of work has been way more than I expected. I've wanted to quit on it 20 times. I'm not going to, but I've wanted to. My guess is the physical book will be out for this summer, okay? I'll probably have 2 or 3 other digital books before the physical book hits. I got a beginner's guide to strength training for women, which is pretty much done. Just needs pictures and editing. These things I can get out. I got a kettlebell book. I've got a barbell book. These can be done in no time, but the strength training guide, probably summer. But I can tell you, it's going to be pretty good because I put a lot of fucking time and energy into this, okay? A lot. It's crazy. So it'll be really good. It'll be worth the wait, okay? Let's see here now. Hi, Alyssa. So anyway, Alyssa just made a comment and said, you get to hear the best stuff, miss ya. So long story short, I don't own a gym now, but I owned a gym for 10 years, okay? And I would say 80% of my clients were women. So you get to hear a few things, right? You get a group of women, 4 or 5 women together, and they start to chat, right? And I'll always come out, just kind of walk over and they'll kind of let me know if this is something I should hear or not hear. But I've heard it all. And power lifters are one thing, but girls doing shows, girls doing bikini shows, figure shows, fitness shows, I've heard everything and I've seen everything. And I sometimes hear comments in this group of oh, there's a guy here, and oh, you posted pictures in your underwear and there's a guy here. Listen, let me tell you, after coaching probably 50 women for the stage, I no longer really care about seeing a girl in her underwear anymore. I'm pretty much past that point, right? So I hear and see everything. So there's nothing that really surprises me anymore when it comes to this. And that's one of the joys of being in my position is I get to hear a lot of funny things, right? Okay, almost out. Question from Stacy. Do you think collagen supplements help for joints? That is a good question. So I never started using or had not used any collagen supplements ever. And then a couple of months ago, I started taking it. I would say my consistency level has been about 50%. So I haven't used it enough to justify that it's working because I haven't taken it consistently enough. Now, I'll try another brand and give it a go and see how it works. But I know there's lots of good feedback on it, okay? But as for me personally, can I say it works? I don't know. I will need to try another run and see. However, I can't also just judge things by me because a lot of my joints are fucked, and if I can take any improvement on my joints, I'll take it. So for example, right now, my right elbow, which is usually really bad, is low for the last week. I haven't taken any collagen. I've been taking my fish oils. I've been doing lots of other things, but like, why is my elbow hurting me less now than a month ago? It's not from collagen. But maybe if I was taking collagen, it would help a bit more. So the jury's still out on that one. I'm not sure, okay? Question from Rupal. Would I recommend weight training on an empty stomach first thing in the morning? No, okay? No. However, the only time that I would recommend that you do that is if you find it makes you feel really good, okay? So I don't believe in like a left and right, yes or no answer to everything. I believe that there's always the gray. I believe there's beauty in the gray, okay? I find when I wake up in the morning, I feel better before I eat. I have more energy and more focus before I eat, okay? So if I could get up and train then, yes. However, you need certain nutrients and energy to train. So instead of having nothing, maybe just try like 2 or 3 scoops of branched chain amino acids or essential aminos. Maybe try that instead. Maybe try a little bit of beef jerky, so you're getting some protein and some salt and some sugar. You know what I mean? A little bit of sugar, but like salt is your friend. So there's no right or wrong, but for the most part, I don't recommend training on an empty stomach in the morning if you're lifting, especially if you're lifting heavy. Okay. Ooh, now we're talking fun questions. Okay. Missy, question from Missy. Can you talk about rack pulls? What are the benefits and when to incorporate them? Okay. So there's rack pulls and block pulls. Okay. So a rack pull is when the barbell itself, when the bar is resting on a pin or on some type of anchor support, right? So the bar is resting on it, okay? A block pull is when the plates are resting on something higher and elevated. And essentially all of these deadlift variations are done usually at a higher point, so the range of motion is less. Benefits. With a block pull or a rack pull, you're able to use heavier weight, all right? So usually you could use anywhere from 20 to 30% more than your standard deadlift. The range of motion is shorter, so you can usually lift heavier. So what does this do? It overloads your spinal erectors, it overloads your grip strength, it overloads your back, it overloads your everything working. It's got huge benefits. However, I don't know how much it carries over to a standard deadlift. And what I mean by that is because you can pull a lot on a block pull or a rack pull does not mean you're going to pull a lot from the floor because the levers and the mechanics and stuff are completely different, okay? Do I think block pulls and rack pulls have benefits? Yes, okay? Do I think that because you're strong pulling above the knee off blocks or a rack, that when you get to a bar from the floor and you get to that position, will you be stronger? I don't know. Kinda, maybe if you do things right, but it's not so black and white. And I've pulled big weight on a rack pull. Like I've pulled, I'm not talking my numbers or anything, but I've pulled like 600 off a block pull for a triple. And then I've pulled 600 on a deadlift and got it to the knees and didn't budge, didn't move. So like, should it carry over? Yes, but it doesn't always, okay? But it is a great way to build weak muscles and to overload things and just to lift some fucking heavy shit, you know, sometimes is a lot of fun. Okay, question from Rupal. Do I recommend keto with intermittent fasting? The answer would be no and no, okay? I think intermittent fasting can be great. I think keto can have its benefits. But here's the thing. Why do I want to deprive myself from all of these wonderful things in life? I like wine. So if I was doing keto now or if I was doing fasting, I would have no wine. And that's okay. I don't think you need to torture yourself and sacrifice everything in order to make results, all right? The more you sacrifice and the more you give up does not always mean that you're going to get better results. This is a big myth, okay? Keto has its benefits. Do you want to do keto for long term? I don't think you should. Fasting has benefits, okay, but it also has drawbacks. So it's good to weigh out the pros and cons of both, if that makes sense. But no, I don't think you need keto and intermittent fasting. I think you need to lift some fucking weights and get stronger and build some muscle and eat more food, and then you can enjoy life a lot more. And that's my theory on training and nutrition, and that's why I try to get all the women that I coach to do, is to get stronger and lift more, because then you can eat more and everybody's happier. I'm going to check for the last couple here, ladies. Let's see here now. If there's any more, let's see. Oops, sorry, I went backwards instead of forwards. I'm almost done. Cindy, I hope the referrals help you. I am the first person. I have no problem giving credit to people that have helped me, that I've learned from, that are better than me. I have zero problem ever doing this, like ever, okay? It's people in the industry should be respectful to others and help them, okay? And I can't see anything else. Okay, on that note, it's been fun. I will do another one on Friday night or Friday sometime. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment below. And please support all things women who lift weights. I appreciate this, and I'm very grateful to do it. Thank you, and cheers.